I'm here with Joe Woodard, one of my role models in the industry of accounting, advisory, and pro advisors. A person that I look up to. Done a great job with your conferences. It's an absolute honor to speak at your conferences. I love it. I love hanging out for a few minutes with you every time I come here. And every time you speak, you know, you're so heady, right? You want to give so much information, and sometimes you walk out thinking so much. Tell us about the sessions that you talked about. There was a session you talked about yesterday about leadership, was it?
Yeah, well, today I'm talking leadership a little bit later this afternoon, and in that session, I'm connecting what is a void in the accounting space to the very results people are trying to generate. Accountants don't necessarily connect that leadership is essential to value creation and to the kinds of firms that will scale and scale in a profitable way. We tend to bypass it, sort of like we bypass other elements of the business function like sales. We pull legs out and think that somehow we're going to have a healthy animal here. So leadership, first it requires that you have a team to lead, which means the first challenge I make in that course is rethink your decision to be a sole practitioner. And rethink it, because being an employer is not a net stress, which is the myth.
Right.
If done correctly, it relieves pressure. Okay, so all the horror stories you've heard there, that you can mitigate those just by learning how to be a good leader. And then when you see that a firm that will scale and a firm that has a succession plan is almost always a firm that has a team, now you've got to start grooming your leadership skills, because very few of us come into life with innate leadership skills. We came into this profession, all of us, because we know the trade. So you have to work on that skill. And the key elements of leadership are about the empowerment of the employee through the delegation of authority, not just tasks. If you delegate tasks, you'll never multiply the benefit of what's in your brain and the intellectual capital of your firm. And people who delegate tasks end up in this growth ceiling that make them say, well, I tried that and I never really got to competitive advantage as a team leader. But if you delegate authority, then you're going to find that people are not only performing better than you could possibly have imagined, they are adding to your intellectual capital, because in that ownership of those tasks, they're going to add from their experience to your process, they're going to perfect your systems, and they're going to contribute. But only after you've delegated authority can you embrace a servant leader model, which is ultimately the goal of leadership. By delegating authority to someone and giving them ownership of the task, it is now their responsibility to create a desired result. Theirs, not mine, because I have delegated the authority there. That means that I'm constantly saying, you decide, you decide, you decide. Because I'm the owner of the company, or because I'm the leader of the team, their success is intertwined with my own. So I put myself in a position where I need to serve them to ensure their success. But the success is no longer my responsibility. When I do that, I'll scale opportunity for the practice.
Yeah, and I heard something yesterday that was so simple and so mind-blowing at the same time. I don't know if you heard this, but tell me if you did. They were in a panel and they were asking, about spending money in training, like investing in training, because you have to. Delegating authority is not enough. What if they don't know what they're doing?
That's right.
They have to be trained, or educated.
Exactly.
Right? So, and you're in the education business. I'm kind of quasi in the education business. We have to invest in educating our employees. So one person very wisely said, "Hey, what if I train them and they leave me?" And the panelist said, "Well, what if you don't and they stay?"
They stay. That's exactly right.
Man, that's so profound.
Right, it is. It's extremely profound. And I love what you're saying about education and tying that to the firm's overall goal, because ultimately we're in the knowledge business, and there's a big plague on the industry right now. We talked about this in our value pricing roundtables yesterday here at the conference. We are a production-minded, production-obsessed even, profession, and we need to become a knowledge-obsessed profession. So I'll get to that employee turnover issue in just a minute, but by increasing that employee's knowledge, I am increasing my firm's ability to manufacture my product. My product is a successful client. My product is not a financial statement. We were taught in accounting school, the product of the industry is a financial statement.
The report.
The report. That is not our product. Our product is a successful client. All right, financial data and knowledge to interpret that to the benefit of the client are the raw materials to manufacture our product, which is a successful client.
Successful client or transformed client?
Both.
Right?
Because to create, yes, and thank you for knowing my vision statement. Yeah, our vision statement is to transform small business through small business advisors, but in that's how we define success, right? We're transforming them toward a successful model in their business. And I say that accountants should embrace the role of being agents of small business transformation. They can never do that unless they have specialized knowledge. And that knowledge has to be specific to how that business, what levers they need to pull in order to succeed. Now let's get back to your employee turnover. All right, it's not enough that I send this person out and I increase what's in the gray matter between their 2 ears. That's step one. Step two is to process that, to incorporate that into the systems of the practice. So then I turn the knowledge they've gained when I sent them into that conference into intellectual capital in my firm. And the intellectual capital is democratized through the process of my firm. So it matters, yes, if they leave, but if they leave, they don't take the specialized knowledge with them. That's already been democratized into my process. Now I accomplish two things that way, Hector. First, the next person that comes along, I don't have to retrain them in all of that raw material. I train them in the process. In the process, they know how to create the product. Right? Everybody at Starbucks doesn't know how to create the perfect cup of coffee. That was done through research and development. But they can create a perfect cup of coffee because they've been taught the process,
right? And
the process contains the intellectual capital. Is this making sense?
Absolutely.
Right, I know it does to you, so I want to make sure it makes sense to everybody else.
Well, we don't get feedback in a recorded video.
Exactly, so I have to ask you.
Yeah, it's not Facebook Live.
That's exactly right. So I know I'm saying a lot in a very short amount of time here, but what it will do is it will mitigate that loss of the knowledge walking out the door with the person, and you turn the education of the person into a means to a greater end, and that's intellectual capital for your firm.
Perfect. And you had a session this morning about artificial intelligence.
Yes.
I already took too much of your time, so that was recorded on Facebook Live.
It is.
So if you go to the Intuit Accountants Facebook group, Facebook page.
Yes.
You can click on it. Joe Woodard's session was there this morning. 1 minute infomercial about spending an hour.
Exactly. Why should you watch that session? So I did cover artificial intelligence, but I covered all disruptive technologies: artificial intelligence, blockchain, data automation, machine learning, and I broke each one of those down, and I talked about what impact those are going to have on the profession, what impact they're having now, what impact they're going to have in the future, and what I project that's going to happen. All right, and then I talked about the accountant's response. You know, this is not something where we're talking about just your normal technological disruption. We're talking about what specialists are calling the fourth industrial revolution. It's a massive change in the way that the economies of the world work, and it's technology driven. For the first time, Hector, in all of these industrial revolutions, because we are on our fourth one, starting with the cotton gin on the first one, this is the first one that affects the professions. So your folks need to tune in, watch that, and see how to respond.
And are you building an entire conference around this theme?
I am. Thank you for that.
I'm gonna let me plug it.
Yeah, you do it.
Okay, it's better if I plug it.
Okay, great.
You're smart and everything, but this is my show. Okay.
Okay, got it.
All right. So Joe.
I love you,
So Joe Woodard from the Woodard Network runs a conference that I believe this is the 10th year. They're coming back home to Atlanta, where headquarters is, and the theme is Tame the Machine or Tame the Machines. And I'll come to my session. I'll do a session about video, YouTube marketing, and maybe something with QuickBooks inventory. But Joe, how can you build an entire conference around this theme? Quick infomercial on. And so, QuickBooks Connect is the best conference in the world for people that love QuickBooks Online. And QuickBooks, Scaling New Heights, best conference in the world for the folks that want to talk about everything.
Yes.
Desktop, online. Right.
Yeah, from the Intuit product line, we cover the full gambit, including all the other peripheral products. But in terms of Tame the Machines, there are two different ways you tame the machines. You leverage them and you transcend them. And leveraging is taking this automation that exists, creating stream profits in your practice. Transcending is being more of a...
That's a scary word.
Yeah, it is a scary word, but by transcending the machines, you do more human-to-human work. You become a knowledge worker, you become a relationship worker, you start dealing with complex issues with your clients, because more and more the machines are going to take care of the simple and cyclical, then they're going to take care of the complicated, but the complex, which includes the range of human emotions and human needs, right? That's what the machines will never be able to compete with. They might be smart enough to envy one day, but they can never do. So my encouragement in transcend the machines is be a relationship worker with your clients and come alongside them for a long journey of business success as a coach.
So train the machine to do the things that are low value, repetitive, so we can spend more time to think and play and build relationships and empathy. So we feel our customers, they feel us, and the service of accounting becomes something entirely different than what we're used to.
Yes, absolutely. That's it.
Thank you so much, Joe. I look forward to scaling new heights.
Yeah, thank you, Hector.
Thank you for joining us. Appreciate it.
Yep.